Yeah, what's up, family? So, I wanted to read you guys a little bit of one of the books that were taken out of the Bible, the Apocalypse of Peter. I would kind of relate this to almost where the Apostle John speaks in the Revelation. But the Apocalypse of Peter, I'll be honest with you, this is the first time I've ever read it, so I was quite astonished at what I was reading. But I'm going to share it with you guys. This is the Apocalypse of Peter. I believe this is chapter 1, verse 21 through, let's see, we're going to read through 21 through 33, family. And there were certain, they were hanging by their tongue, and these were blasphemers of the way of the righteousness, and under them laid fire, burning and punishing them. And there was a great lake full of flaming myrrh, in which were certain men in pervert righteousness, and tormenting angels afflicted them. And there were also others, women, hanged by their hair over that myrrh that bubbled up. And these were the ones who adored themselves for adultery. And the men who mingled with them in the defilement of adultery were hanging by their feet and their heads in that myrrh. And I said, I did not believe that I could come into this place. And I said to the murderers and those who conspired with them, cast into the certain straight place, full of evil snakes and smitten by those beasts, and those turning to and fro in that punishment. And those worms, as if it was a cloud of darkness, afflicted them. And the souls of the murdered stood and looked upon the punished of those murderers and said, O God, thou judgment is just. So that basically tells us what happens to the people that get murdered. They get to ultimately see what happens to who killed them. So, and it says, they say that, O God, the judgment is just. In verse 25, and near that place I saw another straight place, into which the gore and the filth of those who were being punished ran down and began there as it were a lake. And there sat a woman having the gore up to their necks. And over against them sat many children who were born to them out of due time, crying. And there came forth from them sparks of fire and smote the women in their eyes. And these were the accursed who conceived and caused abortion. Yeah, family, that's literally what it says. I was kind of thrown back by that one. I was like, oh, wow, that's interesting to find out. Verse 26, and other men and women were burning up to the middle and were cast into a dark place and were beaten by evil spirits. And their inwards were eaten by restless worms. And these were the ones who persecuted the righteous and delivered them up. So the ones that delivered the saints up to be killed is what I'm getting from that. And verse 27, and those that were again women. Now listen to this, guys. It gets interesting. And near those were again women and men gnawing on their own lips and being punished and receiving a red hot iron in their eyes. And these were the ones who blasphemed and slandered the way of righteousness. Verse 31. Let's skip down a little bit. And other men and women were being hurled down from a great cliff and reached the bottom, and again were driven by those who were set over them to climb up upon the cliff, and thence were hurled down again, and no rest from this punishment. And these were those who defiled their bodies, acting as women, but the women who were with them were those who laid with one another as a man with a woman. Alongside that cliff was much full of fire, and there stood the men who did what they did with their own hands, made themselves carven images instead of God. And alongside of these were the men and women having rods and striking each other and never ceasing from such punishment. And others again near them, women and men burning and turning themselves and roasting. And these were they that were leaving the way of God. I'm going to have to look a little deeper. I plan on going to the library soon and trying to find a little bit more on the Apocalypse of Peter if I can, or doing a little bit more research on it. But what I did find was, wow. So I hope that brought y'all a little something. I was kind of thrown back by it. Tell me how you feel about it. I do question why family, why did they take out all these books? And was it meant for us? I mean, was it meant for this generation? It just makes you wonder why so many books were taken out of the Bible. And, we're told in the Word of God not to take from or to add to. But it seems like, there's so many people from generation to generation to generation for many, many, many years that's done just that, taken from the Bible. So I don't know. I'm going to pray on it and see if the Lord wants me to dig a little deeper on this. But I love you, family. I hope y'all are having a great weekend. Later.